So today we're talking about 3 simple tips to prepare for the STAAR test, because I know that you're probably here because you want your student to feel confident going into this test. Maybe they're coming out of a really tough year in school and you want to make sure that they're prepared to perform as well as they possibly can on the STAAR test. But many times it feels like preparing for this test can be very stressful. There's a lot of anxiety that comes with it. There's a lot of mystery around how this test is even created. And so that's why today we want to talk about just 3 simple ways that you can prepare for the STAAR test. And I'm making a bold promise that by the end of this short video, you will have a clear roadmap. You will know exactly what that you need to do as your next step in preparing your student to do well on the STAAR test. And for those of you parents that are watching right now and you actually watch the entire video to the end, I actually have a special gift I'd like to give you just for sticking around and watching. My name is LaShawn James. I'm actually the owner and operator of the Mathnasium of the Dominion and the Mathnasium of Alamo Ranch. And so I've literally tutored dozens, if not hundreds of students through the STAAR test. I've seen them have success and I've seen what works and what doesn't work. And I want to share with you the 3 simple tips that I've learned on how to do well on this exam. You want to study using real material from the Texas Education Agency. The Texas Education Agency they're the people who actually write the STAAR test, and every year they actually release the STAAR test from the previous year. So I'd like to show you that before we move on to tip number 2. If you open your search browser and you type in STAAR released test questions, it's going to take you to the Texas Education Agency. And if you scroll down, you're going to notice that for every grade, they've actually released the mathematics, the reading, and then for the 5th grade and on, you'll have science, and then it'll also include social studies as you go on to the higher levels. But all of the previous STAAR tests from 2017 and even farther back are here. And so let's pretend I have a 5th grader and I want to help them prepare for their mathematics STAAR test. So I'm going to go to 5th grade mathematics and I'm going to click on the 2021 mathematics STAAR test. So here you have the STAAR test for 5th grade, and it was given on May 2021. And if you scroll down, you're going to notice that there are some pages before the STAAR test. You'll see a ruler here on the side. You'll see some formulas that are here. Your student should be very familiar with these formulas and these reference sheets. You also see the centimeters here on this side and a graphing table. There's a great chance your student might not need it, but this shouldn't be the first time that they see it. Whenever they sit and actually take the STAAR test, it shouldn't be the first time that they see these reference pages. So let's scroll all the way down and let's take question number 1, for example. So let's say your student does, they try to complete question number 1, they read it and they try to answer it, and you need to check it. Well, you don't actually have to break out a calculator. You don't actually have to know how to do this material, because if you go back to the STAAR test website, you'll see that they've given you an answer key and they've given you what's called the rationale, the item rationale. So basically these are the answers, and these are the reasons why the answers are correct, written out in word form. So I'll show you exactly what that means. So here we have a question that says that a person spends $6.75 every Saturday for breakfast. If there's 14 Saturdays, how much do they spend in total? If I look at the rationale, they'll let me know the answer A is correct, and they'll give me the math so I can clearly see the math here. So again, as a parent, you don't have to try to solve these questions. These questions are already solved for you. Let's say your student chooses the incorrect answer and they choose B or C. They'll actually tell you why a student would have likely gotten B and why a student would have likely gotten C. And so here you can actually diagnose exactly what your student is doing and begin to coach them along the correct ways of doing it. So that's step number 1. Step number 1, again, is to use the real material from the Texas Education Agency to be able to administer the test and grade it. And all of that is free online. So what's step number 2? Step number 2 is you need to customize your review using IXL. So listen, there's many ways to review for the STAAR test, but I want to show you the fastest way that I found over the past 3 years for parents to be able to help their students to study and prepare for the STAAR exam without having to buy a bunch of workbooks and without having to come up with questions on their own. So let's continue with this same example. So let's pretend your student tries to answer question number 1, and instead of putting the correct answer, they get an incorrect answer. And again, you'll know this because you've looked at the rationale and you've also looked at the answer key. But I want you to pay attention to this column right here where it says content student expectation, and it says 5.3E. And if you're wondering what that is actually the part of that's the reference for what your student was supposed to know in order to get number 1 correct. So if I go to IXL, and you can go and to type in IXL.com, IXL.com, and you can type in TEKS. That's TEKS, and it will take you to this webpage here. And you want to click Show Alignments for STAAR test. And remember what that reference was. That reference was 5.3E. So we're going to scroll down. Here we see 5.1. Let's scroll down. Here we see 5.2, 5.3, and we just need to find E. So here it is. Here's E. And if we read it, we find out that Texas wants our student to be able to solve for products of decimals to the hundredth, including situations involving money. And so here are all of the lessons that your student could review in order to get this question right. So just to recap, again, we looked at number 1 and we realized we have to multiply a decimal and a whole number, and it's dealing with money, and it's a word problem. We know that the correct answer is A, and we know how to get the correct answer. And we realized that the expectation that this is being pulled from is 5, meaning I think that means for 5th grade, and then 5.3E. And when we look that up on IXL, we see that 5.3E is multiplying and dividing decimals. So the next point is we can actually just click any one of these and you'll see that there's a quick review on how to multiply and divide decimals. So at this point in your student's academic career, they probably have already learned this material, so they don't need a full lesson on it. They simply need a review. And so this is a great way to get that review taken care of without you having to come up with these questions. And this program is not that expensive. I'll actually show you the details on how much it costs if you want to buy it. For those of you who are Mathnasium parents, this is something that's already purchased for you, so you don't have to go out and buy this. We've actually purchased this for all of our students, and we'd be more than happy to create your account and share it with you. So again, this is a 5th grade lesson on multiplying and dividing decimals. And the way I found this lesson is by typing in IXL and going to the 5th grade math standards. I clicked STAAR test. So STAAR, State of Texas Assessment of Academic Readiness. I scrolled down to 5.3E. I knew it was 5.3E because I looked at the STAAR test and they actually told me what the content expectation was here in this column. And I can find the exact lessons that I can click on. And again, these lessons should take less than 15 minutes. They're a very quick review on how to multiply decimals. And that is going to help me answer correctly this question on the STAAR test. If you're wondering how expensive this program is, I'm going to pull it up and actually show you that just for the single subject, if you choose math, it's $9.95 a month. I mean, that's a really great deal and is a 30-day guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, you can quit. And so I'm pretty sure this is month to month as well. So if you just want to drop $10 and be able to get access to all of these lessons, then you're able to do that. All right, so let's go through the tips one more time and let's share the last one before we leave. Number 1, we want to study with real material from the Texas Education Agency. This is going to build familiarity with the test. And so this won't be the first time that they see those reference pages. It won't be the first time that they sit and actually take the test. I would also recommend that as you're studying for this test, have them sit and do the entire test. Don't give them, 5 questions or 10 questions or 12 questions, because that's not the length of the test. Go ahead and have them sit and take the entire thing. And put something as a reward for their hard work. So it doesn't have to be a reward for them getting a perfect score, but as a reward for their hard work and for their focus, they can get a certain reward that you were probably already going to give them. Why is this important? Well, there needs to be something at stake for them to care. There needs to be something at stake for them to understand that there's a little bit of risk involved in taking this practice exam. And the reason why you want to do that is because there will be a lot of anxiety on test day because they're going to think a lot hangs in the balance. And so you want to have them to be calm and say, hey, it's okay. This test is not define who you are, but I do want you to do well on it. And so during that testing time, they're going to feel a little bit of that risk. They're going to feel like something's at stake. So you want to recreate that at home or recreate that in another environment so that it's not the first time they feel the pressure or the weight of doing well on a very long test. And so again, as you're preparing, don't just give them 5 or 10 questions. Go ahead and have them sit and take the entire thing, and then put something at stake. put something at stake that they actually want, and don't tie it to their performance, like get an A and I'll give you X, Y, or Z. Tie it to their effort that they put in, their focus, because those are the things that we really need whenever they actually sit and take the test. So we want to study with real material from the Texas Education Agency. We want to customize our review using IXL. We're not trying to come up with our own questions, and we want to just use a program that's already tied directly to the standards that they're going to have to test with, and it's going to give them a very quick review in a 15-minute or less lesson, and just get that muscle memory down packed so they understand exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And the third thing you want to do is leverage out other voices to increase their attention. What I mean by that is a lot of times we Google how to do something, but we don't think of who should be doing it. So for example, I can Google how to fix my lawnmower, how to fix my oil, change my oil, or how to fix the plumbing in my house, but it doesn't answer the question of should I be the one doing it. And so many times we have parents that are trying to tutor their own children, and they don't ask the question, should I be the one that's tutoring my child? And what we found here at Mathnasium is that a lot of parents, they do know how to do steps 1 and steps number 2, but the reality is they need somebody to step in and actually execute it for them, because their student responds differently when they are being taught and they're being mentored by other people. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would consider looking to some tutoring agency. Again, I would recommend Mathnasium because it's the best. You know, I am biased. I do own 2 centers, but we honestly do a great job at what we do. But this video isn't about just promoting Mathnasium. It's more about making sure your student is taken care of whenever they take the STAAR test. So again, leverage any voice to help increase the attention span of your child and help increase how receptive they are to the teaching that's going on. So it's time to take action. I'm going to include the link to these released tests somewhere below or around this video. I'm also going to include the link to this IXL software that I like to use, and it actually includes all of the grade levels that you'll see here. And again, you can just find the STAAR test relevant to that. And then I'm also going to include a link to the Mathnasium of the Dominion or the Mathnasium of Alamo Ranch, so that you can begin to explore whether or not you need to hire outside resources in order to help speed up this process. Again, I did promise you a gift for getting to the end of the video. And so if you've made it all the way to the end of the video and you're listening right now, I want to waive all of the registration fees that are associated with joining Mathnasium. So you won't pay the enrollment fee, you're not going to pay an assessment fee, and you're not going to have to pay any of the other fees to get started. You're only going to pay for the tutoring. So just simply let them know that you've watched this video, and then my team is going to contact me, and I'll make sure to get all of that waived for you so that you can just pay for the tutoring that you're looking for. And again, not having to deal with the enrollment fees or any assessment fees that are associated with joining. If you found this video to be helpful, please share it to some other parents that might not have these resources and that you know would appreciate hearing about this. And again, I can't wait to hang out with you one day. Hopefully we get a chance to meet soon. But if not, good luck on taking the STAAR test, and I'm here for you if you have any questions. Bye.